Greetings, badasses. You know, how's your morning going? My morning's going pretty damn good, but I haven't read the news yet. Although the news yesterday was a little bit brighter. Let's see. What else? I was going to say something. Oh! Well, I was going to say that. The good news is I think I've convinced my dad to do some stretching. I'm not calling it yoga. I am kind of ambushing him with it under the guise of hugs and dancing. Because, you know, if I told him we were doing yoga, he would tap out. He would walk away. Wouldn't happen. Which, you know, it's not totally fine. It is what it is. Oh gosh, come on. I do apologize about yesterday's video yoga. You know that, and now Spotify, oh, here it goes. Whew. I was going to say, and now Spotify is not going to work again today. I had every, oh no, we're not dancing that shit off. We are, do. I don't want recent. I want alphabetical. Hey, now. Here's the funny thing. My husband, are we dancing in the moonlight? We are dancing in the moonlight. Here's what I'm doing, what I'm going to invite you to do. I am starting my morning. I'm not reading the news. I have taken the social medias off my phone. So if I want social media, if I want to check in with Facebook or Instagram, I'm doing it on my computer. You know what? Which is probably so much better. I was toying with the idea of putting it back on my phone, but you know what? I'm not going to do it. I will just continue to check in. Although I'm not posting. You can't post on Instagram or TikTok from your computer. You can only do it on your phone. I wonder if that's, are they tracking us? Fuck yeah, they're tracking us. What are we talking about? And I'm limiting, I'm only getting news from what I would consider central or left-leaning. Yes, there's nothing wrong with left-leaning news. Because you know what? Facts. And then I'm starting my morning with a dance party. I pick a song. This morning it was, what was it? Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars, which is, I think, on this playlist or is it on a new one? And I dance through my chores. I go and do the cats and I do the kitty litter and I feed the outdoor cats. And then I move the laundry and then I start my dad's coffee and then I get his pills out and then I do his stuff, right? I mark his calendar. I make my coffee. This morning I made my coffee. I might make some more later. And you know what? It's really pleasant. Really, really pleasant. And it's improving my mood. So there you go. We're going to do beginning yoga. And I am listening. I put the link in the description. I didn't do it on the other class. I'll have to do that. Beginning yoga. Today we're going to work a little Trikonasana. Oh, this is what I was going to talk about. Yesterday, I was up early. I was getting ready to go. And then shit started happening. Dog stuff, cat stuff, dad stuff. And then I remembered, and I slept through my alarm yesterday. That's what I did. I haven't done that in a very long time. I think I double dosed myself. I think I took 2 of my pills. I have some medication that I have to take at night, and I take the first medication at 7, and then I take another medication at 8:30. And I have to space them out so that I can get up in the morning, because if I take them all at 8:30, I'm never getting up. Anyway, and then I thought I dropped a pill, but I couldn't find it, and I thought I vacuumed it up. So then I went and got another pill, and I think it turns out that I did take the pill. I just didn't remember taking the pill, and so I took 2 pills, and I could hardly get up. I could barely get up when the Beard's alarm went off. So, note to self: if you think you dropped a pill and you can't find it, don't take another one. But man, I slept so good. So I woke up late, and then dog stuff happened and cat stuff happened. We had a little kerfuffle with the puppy and Aoife, who is really worried about her alpha status. And then I forgot I had a rock delivery scheduled, and then it was snowing, and the rock I kept waiting. You know that window of time where they say, okay, we're going to have a morning delivery between 8 and 11. So I was like, oh, sure as shit, I'm going to get on the mat, and then that dump truck is going to roll up, right? I went out, I marked it with marking paint, and then I came in, and I was like, shit, no, we've got some weird stuff going on with our traffic pattern, and I'm going to need to explain, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't get on the mat, and I was TikToking, and I was like, sure, I'm gonna. So in the meantime, I started cleaning and doing my other stuff. And then, of course, by 11, no one had showed up. So I had to call the place. And then the place was like, oh, sorry, we meant to call our deliveries this morning because I wanted road base. He said, yeah, we don't deliver road base. It's soaking wet. Apparently it's bad. He's like, we want to make sure you get what you need. And so I'm sorry, we were supposed to call you and tell you we canceled the delivery. Motherfuckers. Can we reschedule the delivery? And I started laughing because I was like, okay, well, yesterday was snowing. Today is going to be dry. But the rest of the freaking week, thunderstorms. And now I'm in the middle of a project. I can't get my fucking rock. It's very frustrating. I have another project to do, but anyway. So I didn't get on the mat because it was like noon, and I was like, Jesus Christ, if I had known that, I would have just gotten on the mat. Have you ever had days like that? Yeah. So beginning yoga. We're going to start in comfortable seated position. This is, oh God, my dog, somebody rubbed up against my knee. It's okay, I'm going to finish laundry today. Comfortable seated position. Yes, I did drink my coffee. Staff pose. This might work for you. Legs extended. If this is tight, I'm sitting on the very edge of a blanket underneath my sit bones. But your legs might be tight. You might be feeling a tug on your low back. If you are feeling a tug on your low back, people, go to Thursday's free foam roller workshop. It's a short one. It was only like 45 minutes. But I've been moving all these concrete blocks and really, I was feeling it in my back, and I could not do calisthenics. There was no way I was going to push through that because that would really set me off. So I did a free foam roller workshop. If you have not done it, go do it because you will not be feeling that tug in your back. Staff pose. One leg out, one leg in. Comfortable. This is modified Z-sit. I like this one. But you might be feeling some adductor stretch. You might be feeling some external rotational stuff. It's all good. We just need to give our bodies a chance to adjust, and then we will be switching legs. If your knee is really high, grab a pillow, grab a block, grab a bolster, and rest that on that. I got to turn the heat down. Or pleasant seated pose. This is not crisscross applesauce. This is not fucking lotus. This is legs in parallel, both on the mat, right? See my feet? If your knees are high and you're leaning back and you're making a face that might lead you to be inspired to get, what are we calling it? Botox. I'm not judging. Chocolate cake is cheaper. Sorry, I had the heat on last night because I knew it was going to be chilly. It was damp. And it was, I mean, here's the deal. It rained. It snowed. It sleeted. It snowed some more. It rained. I'm actually going to leave this out because I'm going to use it in relaxation. It was weird weather. It was spring weather, and it was so chilly that I had turned the heat up because we had turned the heat off. And now I'm sweating. Tuck a bolster, tuck a pillow, tuck a blanket, whatever you need to do to support those knees. Pulling your attention away from the external to the internal. Taking a scan of the body, checking in state and quality of the physical form. What are you feeling? Let's pay attention to our body for a little bit. What have you been doing up to this point? How did you sleep? Let's move that attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking and check in. If you're like me, I am bouncing off the walls. I don't know why. I'm excited to be on the mat, I think, fueled by caffeine. Whatever you've got going on, to-do lists, whatever's left over from the week, what's pushing into your weekend, let's slide it all off to the side and create a nice, clear, open field of thought for practice. I want you, anytime something kind of starts sneaking in, anytime something starts sneaking in to your awareness and tugging on your attention, shoo it off. Woo! Pretend you're a 70s mom on the phone. Clothesline that stuff. And then let's move that silence into the awareness of our breath. Soft, easy inhale, soft, silent exhale. We're just moving our attention with the intuitive rhythm of breath. And we'll slowly start to increase the length of the inhale and balance it to the exhale. Traditionally in yoga, we breathe into and out of our noses. If you are struggling with your sinuses for whatever reason, just breathe. Don't worry about that part. Let's just work on the balance and the rhythm of the breath and really focus our attention to that. Wherever you are at in that balance of breath, let's exhale all the air out of the lungs, reaching fingertips down, sweeping arms up to the ceiling with the inhale and exhaling. Oh, yeah, turn it into a yawn. Inhaling up. Laterally extending. Let's take it on over. Oh. Nice big stretch up toward the ceiling. And exhaling. Let's do that in two more full repetitions. I'll tell you what, though. Thursday's foam roller thing was amazing. I was dealing with some serious low back pain, hamstring insertion pain. Woo! Forward folding, tucking the chin, rolling on through, coming to rest on our forearms, knees, calves, ankles, block, or floor. I'm actually going to use foam roller since it's right here. Wiggle the toes, relax the feet, unclench the teeth. I just will tell you, it was an amazing thing. Let's see, yesterday, there were some, it takes a while for those muscles and that fascia to release that tension. And yesterday there were a couple of places where it was like, ooh, I need a little extra something. And so I got the what's the gun? I have a gun. And I put the very narrow pressure attachment on it. Let's walk those hands back. Nice big inhale, and worked into that SI joint a little bit more, releasing the hands down to the hips, bow the chin. And I'm telling you, perfection. Sat on the heating pad last night. What did we watch? Oh, we watched Little Jack Ryan. Beautiful storytelling. Really, I think, layered and complex. There's no good guys. There's no bad guys. It's just people working forward for, I don't know, all different kinds of motivations, bowing the chin forward. Oh, anyway. I have the privilege of sitting for an hour with my puppies and watching a little television. It is a privilege. Bowing the chin forward, tracing the fingertips around the front of the body, and slowly stacking cervical spine. There's actually a very interesting one of the characters. Let's change the placement of the legs. If you're in staff pose, stay. It said geography is destiny. Because one of the guys, super striking looking human being, by the way, too. Nice big inhale up. We are going to take, we're doing Trikonasana. Sorry, I was in Vinyasa. Vinyasa this week is going to be a twisting practice. That's what we were going to do yesterday. Today is Trikonasana. So let's go ahead and take our lean. Ooh, now we're going to forward fold. Reach across the right arm over left knee. I was going to look up his name. Really interesting performance and just a striking human being. He said, Jack Ryan, the main character, really contemptuous of this dude. And the guy said, look, you know what? You think I'm a bad guy? You think you're the good guy? And he said, if I had been born in a city like Cincinnati, maybe I'd be the good guy, right? He's like, but I was born here. He's like, geography is everything. Geography is destiny. And that is the fucking truth, people. We have been privileged, and we don't even understand. Well, some of us do, but a lot of us don't. The fucking privilege that we have. Forward folding, tuck the chin. Woo, follow it down. Little rock side to side, wiggle the toes, unclench the teeth, and now I get to go. Look at that. That's the beauty of foam roller work. This would not have happened on Thursday. In fact, it didn't. Lock the hands back. Nice big reach on up. Let the hands drip down to the hips, bowing the chin. Tilt the ears over to one side. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, it's nail biting, but it's also, if you can really pay attention to the complexities of the storytelling, it's really well done. And I realize I'm behind the power curve. But listen, sometimes I just watch things I know over and over and over again. Bowing the chin forward, trace the fingertips around the front of the body, slowly stacking cervical spine. It's the coping thing, right? Let's move to hands and knees. Sorry, I'm really up today. Manic? Possibly. Oh. All right. 2 fists side by side. Knees to either side of those hands. I am using a block between my ankles, and that is to externally rotate my feet. So normally, if I weren't using the block, I have tight hip flexors and my toes would rotate in, but I want to help those hip flexors. So I'm going to be using the block, right, to keep that from happening. I want to keep my calves and shins in parallel. Ooh. And if you are working with that, you will see it as well. Heels of the hands move forward, out from underneath the shoulders. So no 90-degree bullshit. Soften the elbows, engage the core. Imagine flattening that back toward the ceiling. Inhaling at center. Let's work chakra, Vakasana bow. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, little scoop of the belly. Reaching back into the bow. Rotate the wrists. Make a fist, spread the fingers. Inhaling forward. And again, tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, draw back. Wiggle the fingers. Inhaling. Sorry, I'm all off kilter with my breath. Tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly. I need to inhale. I forgot. I'm working with a pulmonologist to change my asthma treatments. Ooh, what the fuck, clean. So they've asked me not to do some things, and it's definitely causing me some issues. And what the fuck, clean. Oh, there's a hip flexor right there. You know what? I'm going to make a chiropractor appointment. He can help me with this SI stuff. I don't go all the time. Inhaling to center, angry cat tuck. Oh. Flat back, tuck the toes. Take a little stretch. Inhaling forward, flatten the toes. Chakra Vakasana bow. Tuck the chin. Take the forearms down. Scoop the belly. Draw back into the fold. Wiggle the fingers. Roll the wrists. Make a fist. Thumb inside. Spread the fingers out nice and wide. Inhaling forward. What the fuck, lean. And to the other side. Angry cat tuck. Here's the thing. Flat back. Tuck the toes. We're just holding here. Nice, lovely stretch right up the center of the foot. Take the forearms down to the mat. Roll into the balls of the feet. We're just calf stretching. It's about mobility. So I want you to, let's just release flexibility out of our brain. I don't want to hear any more about flexibility. Come down and release. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists. Let's talk about mobility. Because my dad is 90. He's going to be 90. And, he's got some joint issues, of course. He was in an airplane crash in 1964, maybe. Inhaling to center, tuck the chin, take the forearms down, scoop the belly, broke both of his legs, shattered his left ankle, knocked out all of his teeth, broke his jaw. I mean, if you saw pictures of the plane his plane, what the fuck? It was bad, right? Plane was completely destroyed. And in 1960, whatever, Angry Cat Tuck, I want to say 4. They did their best. They put him back together. And they rebuilt his ankles, come down to the forearms, tuck the toes, roll up into the feet. And so that's part of it, right? Come up to the hand. Let's walk ourselves forward and take a forward fold. I'm going to grab the block because this is the first round of folding, right? Soft in the knees. So, and he never had that ankle bend knee redone, bend knee. And it caused him fits my whole life. Elbows to knees, sweeping up to the ceiling, cactus squeeze. And he should have had it redone, right? He should have had it, even in the 80s or the 90s, he should have had that ankle rebuilt. They could have probably given him a new ankle, a new joint. And he would have been so much more mobile now. Forward folding chair. Find the block. Come forward, take a little forward fold. And so it's about mobility. It's not about flexibility. I don't want to hear any more about, oh, I'm not very flexible. Unwind. Yoga. Let's make yoga the conversation about yoga, about mobility. Cactus squeeze. Because let me tell you, his biggest frustration, well, I'll say his top 2. He's living with mild dementia. Something a little bit more serious than just being 90. So that's one of his frustrations. But his other big frustration, which I think would help his brain, and actually I know it would. I could give you some medical studies. When the National Institute of Health used to be the National Institute of Health, they did important things, trace the fingers up the legs, like, dementia studies, physical studies, mobility studies, fitness studies about longevity. Inhaling straight up, and then let's trace the fingertips down for our forward fold. Anyway, his mobility, bend a knee, and bend a knee. Elbows to knees, trace the fingers up. We're going to work on our Trikonasana next. Cactus squeeze would be greatly improved. And if his mobility was greatly improved, lateral, then his brain would be working better, right? Just like his hearing aids help his brain function because he can hear, and then it improves his cognition. So those are his 2 one of his big frustrations that we could do something about is his physicality, his mobility. Half lift. All right, we're going to come up. Let's talk about Trikonasana. Trikonasana is a position of feet. It's called triangle pose, right? Where your feet are in parallel. And I'm going to work it here a little bit so you can see what I want you to do. And then we'll talk about length. So first, let's talk about lateral positioning of the feet. I got to move my blanket out of the way. There are 2 directions on the mat. Excuse me. The first one is lateral. These are our geographical references. So feet, lateral spacing, wide. If my feet were out to the edge of the mat, that would be a wide position. Or neutral position, which is the narrow stance. Now, we don't ever, in the fucking yoga company, we don't ever stand like this. And the reason we don't stand like this is you can just see there's no stability. So let's talk about, I'll show you what wide lateral stance, right? Narrow lateral. This is as narrow as we're ever going to get. And the reason this is as narrow as we're ever going to get is for stability purpose. So if I lean side to side, I'm not going to fall. Don't let anybody tell you to line your feet up like this. Number one, look at, I am struggling to hold my balance. There's no way to get your hips in square, right? There's no neutrality here. You're either leaning one way or another, right? It's real hard to be stable on the mat. We're all about stability. I don't want to hear the jokes. Physical stability. Mentally, we're working on it. It's a work in progress. But here, right, I am less likely to be out of square because my heels, shins, knees, hips, ribs, and shoulders are going to fall into neutral stance. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not a little bit out of balance. Like if my back is tight, I can tell you right now I'm leaning, I'm off balance to the left because of this tightness in my back, but it's less likely to happen, right? If I'm in square all the way from shoulders to heels, okay? So this is wide lateral stance. This is narrower or neutral stance. So that's lateral positioning. And then we'll talk about longitudinally. Longitudinally, right, we would have a short stance. We would have a short longitudinal stance. Or we're going to go longer, long. This is lengthening, right? We work latitude and longitude much like navigators do, because even if we're in a long stance, I have lateral spacing between my feet. So I'll show you this. It's a little tricky on this. My platform is not finished, so it's a little slippery. But here's a short longitudinal stance, right? Short or long. But look at, I have lateral spacing between my feet. I'm not narrowing. I don't have narrow. I'm in neutral position and I'm stable. I can rock my hips, rock and roll in this position without falling over. If my feet were in alignment, right, it'd be very hard to keep my hips square. So I want you to think about keeping your hips square. All right. Warrior one, right, is backing out. This is a mild warrior one position. I'm laterally wide. Warrior two, I'm going to turn this way, is my heels are in alignment, but only because I'm keeping them in my hips in alignment. My hips are square, right? And the reason I can do this is because my hips are square. So I have a lot more balance here. Now we're also going to do Trikonasana in this position. I'm going to extend the legs. So that's what it would look like. So when we talk about moving into Trikonasana, because we're going to step back into Trikonasana, the cueing is this. When I cue for warrior one, I say step back and out, because when we step back, our tendency is to step back and in. Warrior one, back and out. Okay, I have lateral spacing here. My hips are square. When we go to warrior two, which is also Trikonasana, feet, I'm going to step my right foot in, and I'm going to step my left foot back, and I'm going to align my heels. I'm going to align my front heel, whichever leg you stepped back with, to the center of my the arch of my back foot. And this helps me keep my hips square. Now, I'm also going to turn my big toe in to accommodate the torsion, that tension on my knee. Torque. If you're feeling torque on your knee, right, you need to adjust your foot position because we want to protect our knee too. And this is where I'm at. This is warrior 2. Squish in the back knee, bend in the front knee. This is Trikonasana. Leg is extended, but I've got squish in both of those knees. Ooh. Okay. Hips are square. I'm not leaning forward. I'm not leaning back. That's a release valve. So right now, I'm in Trikonasana. Both knees have some flex, soft, that squish. And I want to get myself squared up over my hips. I'm definitely feeling this in my hips, hip flexors, in my back because of this tightness that I'm experiencing in my, it's actually piriformis glute. Isn't that weird? Tightness in my left piriformis glute is making me lean this way. I want to bring my arms up and out. Notice my fingers. I'm not up here. My fingers are a little lower than my shoulders. And then I want to turn my palms, my thumbs to the ceiling. And we're just going to tick-tock over. So notice I'm not taking that release valve. So what you're going to see, there are 2 versions of Trikonasana, triangle pose. One is more laterally focused. The other one's going to be focused on hip and adductor, and it's a release valve. I think both positions are valuable, but we should know both of them, right? They're 2 different versions. So the first one is just lateral. So I'm going to engage my core, lengthen my spine, and tick-tock my hands to touch my pinky to my front leg. All right. Now, this is all about core, keeping my body long, and I'm definitely feeling it. Strong, strong position. Coming on up and bringing that down. Okay. We're going to move to the left side. So rather than step back, I'm just going to turn my right foot in and I'll turn my left foot out, and I'm going to make the same adjustments that I just did on the other side. So I've got some torque. This is a little different because this is my left ankle is the one I shattered. And I still have 2 screws there. So I have some, I don't have full flexion, right? Actually, it's a lot less than it's a lot less now than it was before. And I know that that's just that's post-COVID body, right? It used to be really good with it. And I should probably, you know what? I need to work my physical therapy with that ankle. So I'm definitely feeling this in the adductor. I've got squish in both of my knees. Arms are going to come out. And I'm going to tick-tock just to touch my pinky toe or my pinky finger to that leg. Squish in the knees. Don't lock those knees back. Breathing and coming up. And bringing those arms down. Let's go back to the right side. Turning the foot in. Turning my other foot out. I'm going to adjust my heels. I also think I'm getting, someone mentioned the heel spur on my right side. That's going to be a bummer. And I think I'm going to have it shaved because it's really bugging me. Little squish in the legs, but I'm fully extended. Here's our release valve for Trikonasana. Okay. I'm going to lean out like I'm touching the wall, leaning, but stay stacked and then take it over. This is right over the hip and up the side of the body. Come on up. Ooh, see, I have to square that up. That's that lean. In Vinyasa yoga, we call that a release valve, and we want to release. We don't want to do that, but I do think it's valuable. So I do it occasionally. Let's go to the left. Arms up. Squish in the knees. Let's take that lean. I'm leaning, and then taking the tick-tock down. And you know what's so funny is some of you don't even understand what I'm talking about. Come on up and bring it down. I'm saying tick-tock your arms like a clock, like an analog clock. Which, does anybody have an analog clock anymore? I do. But it's vintage. Everything's digital or on your phone. Holy Toledo. I just dated myself. Also, that's funny. When my dad he just had his wellness, and they usually, I ask them not to because it flusters him now, but ask him to draw the arms of a clock. And the nurse said, there's going to be a whole, in about 5 years, no one's going to be able to draw that clock because they can't tell time on an analog clock. Listen, evolution, it happens. Okay. The old ways aren't always the best ways, people. Get over your nostalgia. Okay. Nostalgia has sold America down the river. Okay. I'm running an experiment today. I won't tell you about it later. Let's start with our left side. So we're going to move. We're going to do 2 rounds in the flow, in the vinyasa of Trikonasana. And then we're going to cool down. All right. So I want you to get the idea of how to move with that position. Nice big inhale up. Cactus arms. Lift it on up. Lateral extension. Inhaling up. I should just say we're going to pivot around the belly button. That's what I'll start cueing instead of saying TikTok, because TikTok is a whole new thing now. Forward folding chair. Oh, good feeling in the back. And this is the beauty, trace the fingers up, half lift, of warming up all the core, is that you start to get more release out of this low back. I gotta blow my nose. Okay. I see some sunshine. Inhaling up, hands to hips. We're going to go left foot back for Trikonasana. Okay. So I'm going to go back and step. Now I'm moving my front foot, heel toe it in so that I can turn my hips and square. Got to rotate my right toe in a little bit to protect that knee, but I have squish in my knees and I'm squared up. And I have adjusted. I got to square hips, ribs, shoulders. Take those arms out. First, pivot around the belly button without the release valve. And I'm just going to rotate around the belly button. And we're breathing. Scoop that belly up and in. Activate that low transverse abdominis. Come on up. Now let's take our release valve. Reach it out and come down. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it. And then we'll talk about our tushy. I forgot to take a step. I forgot a step. All right. We're going to step forward, rotate forward. Now my foot's out of whack, right? I'm going to heel toe it out so that I can step back to neutral. Inhaling, forward fold. Trace those fingertips up the legs. Big inhale up. Cactus squeeze. Actually, I think we can do this 2 more times. Lateral extension. Well, we'll do it this way, and then we'll talk about tushy. Forward folding chair. Half lift. All right, coming on up, hands to hips. Right foot's going to step back. Now you get to see what's going to happen with my shoulders. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about our hip sway. That's what I mean by tushy. Some of us have a little more junk in the trunk. That's okay. What are we doing? Stepping my right foot back. So I'm going to step my right foot back. I have to move my left foot in so that I can turn my hips square. And then I got to rotate my toe a little bit to accommodate that torsion of the knee. Hips, ribs, shoulders, arms out, palms up, or, thumbs up. There was a game you used to play. And now rotate around the belly button. Now I'm also dating myself. We used to play thumbs up. I don't even know what the rules are anymore. Someone my age. All right, now we're going to take the release valve. Reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out. Oh, and take it over. Unwind it. Now look, I have to come back into square to rotate forward. My foot's in the wrong position. I'm going to heel toe it out and step forward and take a forward fold. Coming on down. Trace through the finger or trace the fingers down the legs. Lift and spread the toes. Bring the knees up. And stretch to the ceiling. And release. Okay, we're just going to talk about tushy. We're going to talk about hip sway. And then we will cool down. All right. So you will hear this cued in a yoga class. If you go to yoga in real life, they're going to say, rotate like you're in between two panes of glass. And that's fine. That's not a terrible cue, I don't think. What we want, so widen your stance, soften the knees. What we want to think about is the core, is hip, is booty sway. Let's call it booty sway. I think booty is a much better word than tushy. I don't know why, but I prefer it. When we go with Trikonasana, it's a lateral move, right? We're not swaying back. So even when we're working that release valve to the side and coming down, we're not swaying back. And what happens is a lot of people will sway their booty back so that they feel like they're getting lower in the Trikonasana, right? And that's really not good alignment because you're going to tweak your back. Over time, you will get, you can lengthen your stance. You're going to get more flexibility out of your lateral space. You're going to get more flexibility out of the hips, and you can get a little bit lower. But remember, Trikonasana is not, again, it's not about getting your nose close to your toes. That metaphor, that is just the best thing, right? It's about getting long in the lateral body. Yoga is not about nose to toes, right? It's about creating length and balance in the rest of the body. I'm going to do this on the other side because we just did it on this side. So let's go to the other direction. Don't sway the booty back. Keep it up engaged. And then take your tilt, right? This is where we're going to go. Oh, and you can see I'm actually collapsing that top shoulder. So rotate that shoulder back, right? Because I want to stay in alignment. If you're rotating your shoulder in or you're swaying your booty back to get your fingers closer to your feet, you're not doing anything for your body. So there is a valuable release valve, which is this sway to get a little bit longer, right? But this rotating that shoulder in or swaying the booty back to get lower on that leg doesn't there's no benefit to that. In fact, you're going to remove any benefit of Trikonasana at all. All right, let's head to the mat. Sitting on the mat. Whew. All right. We're going to head to our spines. I'm going to grab a drink of water. If you want to add a layer right now, you can. We're going to cool it down. We might get warmer today than they're calling for. It's the humidity. Anybody who lives in a humid climate knows that the humidity, we're at 83% humidity. In Colorado, that is insane. We are in a high altitude desert here, unless you're in the mountains, and it's dry. I actually remember, true story. Give those knees a squeeze. I took the kids when they were little. My folks had a cabin cruiser. and they were spending several weeks up at Lake Shasta. They used to take the boat. They used to have a big boat that they kept on Lake Powell, and then they sized down to take a boat that they could tow. The boat at Lake Powell, couldn't be towed regularly. And so, and they spent like a month maybe up in the San Juan Islands and then Anacortes, and then they spent a few weeks at Lake Shasta, and I took the kids to go there. And here's what Lake Shasta is in Northern California. North of Sacramento. Is it called the Sacramento Valley? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, it was the first time, and I've been to Washington and I've been to Oregon, but I never really thought about it. Redding, which is in Northern California, is the town near Shasta. It is so hot and humid there. It's crazy. And it's in the mountains. So Lake Shasta is in this, in the valley of of Mount Shasta and all these, it's pine trees. It's an evergreen forest. And it was hot and humid. My brain, spending most of my life in Colorado, hiking in the Rocky Mountains, hiking in the in the snowy range, just had never experienced that kind of heat and humidity. And my brain was like, this is so weird because this is just not how mountains should be. We had a great time. There were bears. And a moose, a swimming moose. Anyway, humidity, Colorado, not two things that go together. Just saying. I'm going to be using my prop, my strap. Left foot is coming up. If you don't have a strap, just take your fingertips down behind the thigh and give yourself a little tension. Now, the beauty of a strap is this. Remember, it's not about getting your nose close to your toes. It's about pushing your heel away from your hip. I've got soft squish in that knee, and I want to get this stretch of hamstring. And then I'm going to give myself a little bit more tension. Now, I am short-waisted, so that creates I don't know how to explain. I've also been doing yoga for 38 years. You cannot expect to have your heel up here. If you're doing this to get your heel up to the ceiling, you're not stretching your hamstring. Come out here and give yourself that stretch. This is about hamstring work. So here's what I was going to say. Short-waisted, long inseam. I have an out of, you know what? I don't even like saying that. I have a short waist and a long inseam. So it creates this kind of a false sense of mobility in my hamstring. Getting the flexibility out of there. Let's take flexibility out of the conversation and talk about mobility. Balance and mobility. Body strength, body weight strength. Let that go. Let's switch sides. I'm going to hop on my G board too. I've been seeing some workouts on this G board that I don't 100% appreciate. Mostly because if you're doing push-ups on that G board, you're hyperflexing your wrists. So I'd have to figure out how to do it in a way that keeps your wrists healthy, in healthy alignment. Bring that knee down. We're going to give those knees a squeeze. Take a little rock side to side. Oh, man. All right. Add your socks, add a layer, figure out where you're going to be comfortable body temperature wise. If you want to take full Shavasana, legs extended, arms at your sides, that's fine. You might not be comfortable in this position. A lot of people are not. So tuck a pillow or a bolster underneath your knees. Roll a towel underneath your neck, keeping your spine in alignment. If you're gestating a human being fully and completely on your own autonomous will, and you have full access to reproductive care and rights, lay on the side you're allowed to lay on with a pillow between your knees, or go get your body bolster. Let that arm rest, and then make sure you're supporting your head. You could go feet on the floor, knees to the ceiling. This is a lovely position. Let those knees tent in. You can put your arms wherever you want. I am going to hop on this. I'm not going to hop. My dad is the king of dad jokes. When I say things like that, he says, you really shouldn't run. You should drive. Or, I'm going to run to town, Dad. You really shouldn't run. You should take the vehicle. Anyway. Dad jokes. He's got them for days. I'm going to get myself carefully on this foam roller. I'm lining my spine up. Oh! Got my knees a little wide, feet a little wide to help me balance. And I'm going to take my arms out and let them hang a little bit. This is a pec, delt, rhomboid, latissimus dorsi stretch. All right, pulling your attention and awareness into the state and quality of your thinking. Check in. Let's quiet the mind. If your to-do list started to rev up, let's slide it off to the side. Clear that open field of thought. And then move that attention into the space of your forehead. Soft. Ease those muscles around your eyes and through the temples. Unclench the teeth. Let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth. Give me a little shake of the head, no. A little shrug of the shoulders. Wiggle the arms, wiggle the fingers, and then let the upper body release toward the floor. Follow the length of spine from the base of the neck down through the shoulder blades. Follow that spine through each one of the ribs, sets of ribs. Tuck the tailbone up, and then let the hips rest. Feel that torso get heavy. Give me a little tension in the quads, a little shake of the legs. Flex the calves, wiggle the toes, roll the ankles, and then let the lower body relax into the floor. Pulling that attention and awareness into the state and quality of our thinking again. And hopefully we're still holding on to that silence. We're going to anchor that silence into the breath. And let's just follow that inhale and exhale. Pulling that attention and awareness deeper into those breaths. Let's take a big inhale, big exhale. Wiggle the fingers, roll the wrists, wiggle the toes, roll the ankles. Lengthen the legs. If you are not laying extended, reach those arms out to the side. Oh, take a big yawning, getting out of bed, re-energizing stretch, bring the knee up, give it a squeeze. Oh, yeah. Bring the other knee up, give it a squeeze. Rocking side to side. Rock from one hip, cross the other. And then roll all the way over to one side. We're going to peel ourselves up off the mat. Upper body first. Coming into comfortable seated position. Whatever that looks like for you, it might not be the same as when we started. Taking a scan of the body, checking in, state and quality of the physical form. How are you feeling? So we did some focused work. Might be translating in the body. Pull that attention and awareness into the state and quality of your breath. And notice how that is working out for you. And then let's check in with our quality of thinking. Now, I want you to really pay attention to your priority list. You don't need to get everything done today. You just don't. So what are the 2 or 3 things that you must get done that are time sensitive? And let's focus on those. And then once those things are finished, right? Maybe move on to the next 2. I mean, give yourself a break. Make it manageable, right? Because if you start to drown in that to-do list, you're not helping yourself. It's release practice, blinking eyes open, taking a nice lovely stretch up and out, honoring your body for doing what you asked it to do and all the hard work it does to get you from one of the week to the other. Listen, I was feeling really self-assured, and I'm actually feeling a lot better. I'll tell you what, off social media, taking news in, on my timeline, yeah, has really done wonders for my mental health. And I'm also in this space about, I'm embracing these 2 ideas. And one is, I think I talked about this earlier. If you are not taking action toward your goals, if you're not moving in the direction or doing things that will get you there, and you're just sitting back and complaining about all the things that you need to do or that it hasn't happened for you, then that's just not successful. So I've been working on that, keeping that in mind, because I think I am a big fat whiny bitch. Just gonna say it. I'm pretty lazy. Not. I don't even know how to explain that, because I'm not lazy, but I am. I'm very introverted and I really hate marketing. I don't want to be that person. I just don't want to be that. I don't want to shove myself down people's throats, and that's okay. So I've been working on that philosophy and that mindset of just taking action and moving forward. And then the other thing is that I'm really going to embrace this. That I want to really embrace this this gift of self, the gift for self, rather than thinking about it as self-care or selfishness or those things. In a lovely world, right? We have privilege. We have the privilege. We still have the privilege, people. It's a privilege to be thinking about this balance. It's a privilege. and everything that's coming out of my mouth right now is an absolute privilege because at this moment, I am not worried about my survival. I have been in that position and I am concerned that we will be in that position again. Right now, embrace the privilege and understand that it is and really feel it and acknowledge it. Grace and kindness. That's all I've got. And I'm not putting up with assholes. I'm just not going to do it. So, I mean, I don't usually do it. It's not my norm, but now more so now because, Nazis are bad people. Fascism is bad. Authoritarianism is bad. And we have we got to do something about it. And things people are doing stuff about it. And I am doing things about it. I'm just doing them in a way that I can. We all have our own baggage and limitations. So, and accepting that that's okay. I could go on and on and on. And I could. Ciao. Have a great weekend.